What's going on, guys? It's your boy Scrub here, back again with another video. Hope you guys are all having an absolutely fantastic day. I know I am. If you are, be sure to press the like button. Otherwise, no joke, no scam. Doodle Bob from SpongeBob will come back to life and actually Manoy you off a cliff. Yeah, trust me, I've seen it happen. He's surprisingly strong. Something about the Doodle Bob strength that comes out of nowhere. Anyways, today I actually have a story from one of the jobs I had to work back when I was a normal employed person. This comes from when I was working at a movie theater, and as you can tell from the title, it's basically about the time a crackhead actually got arrested where I was working for a plethora of reasons, but it all started because he invented his own country. And trust me, I have a feeling that you guys are gonna really like this story, so without further ado, let's get into it. Now, I really hated being a cashier at the movie theater, but every now and then it would happen, and I guess time would pass by relatively quickly, so for the most part, I would just kind of shut up, do my job, and then go home at the end of the day. That's what everybody does at work, right? Like, I don't think anybody pulls up to work and is like, ugh, I love being here, you know? Can't wait to wake up tomorrow, go back, and stay in a place I don't own for 8 hours doing menial tasks for minimum wage. Like, that's never anything anybody likes to do. So, obviously, I would just kind of go and try to pass my time as quickly as possible. And every hour or so, there would be these massive rushes of people whenever the movies from, like, the last set would get out, and the new set of movies would be getting in. So we'd be super busy in the concession stand for maybe 30-40 minutes every hour and a half, and that was the time when it would go by the most. And in between these, when I say that it would be dead, I mean it would be dead. Like, nobody would come in, because shockingly, most movie theaters aren't very popular when your movie doesn't start for an hour and a half and you can't go in and sit in the theaters. Crazy, I know. Trust me, every now and then we would have some weird people who would, like, come an hour early to get their popcorn just to get a large one so that way they could get the free refill before their movie starts, which is just weird, bro. We'll give you the free refill before you leave, too. You don't have to come sit in our lobby for an hour and awkwardly stare at me to eat your buttered popcorn. I promise you, your heart and your cholesterol would thank you if you didn't eat 2 large popcorns. Like, you know how much butter is on a large popcorn, okay? Paula Deen would go into a diabetic shock if she ate the same amount of butter that you did, Daryl. But regardless of Daryl's eating habits, that was kind of the norm. So whenever people would come in when there wasn't a rush coming, we would just kind of be caught a little off guard, and things definitely weren't normal for people to come in that early. But hey, if you want to put yourself in a diabetic coma by eating enough butter to kill a full-grown elephant, that's totally on you. Do your thing, man. Like, you live your life to the best of your ability, and understand that I love you and I support you no matter what you do. So obviously there's that. And yeah, so one day we're kind of sitting there in between rushes, and this crackhead comes in. And I know what you're thinking, Ryan, it's a little bit too rude to judge if somebody's a crackhead, but let me explain this, okay? This guy comes in wearing a crop top, which, I mean, if a dude wants to wear a crop top, that's totally your thing, with a hairy chest, looking like he hasn't showered in about 18 days. And when I say 18 days, that might be a little bit generous, all right? It almost looked like he was a werewolf, and he hasn't showered since the last full moon, and then hasn't showered for like 8 full moons before that. This guy looks like an absolute crackhead. And it doesn't help that he's missing enough teeth that when he smiles, you're not really sure if you're looking at a smile or, you know, like bowling balls going down range and knocking over half the pins and then the pins that are left. I know that sounds mean, and yes, you shouldn't judge a book by your cover or whatever. And I mean, I've dealt with crackheads before. It's pretty normal, you know. Like, I wasn't saying I was going to kick him out for being a crackhead. I'm just saying he was a crackhead. So he walks up to me and he's like, hey, I'd like a beer. And we did serve beer in our movie theaters, and I was 18, so I could serve it. I just couldn't. I had to have like a manager come and make sure the idea was legit, so that way I just couldn't sell it to my friends. Whatever. It's kind of annoying, but like, yo, that's the way the ball bounces sometimes. They don't want you selling alcohol to crackheads, obviously. So I say, yeah, can I see your ID? I just need to get my manager to look at it, right? So obviously, you know, this should be no problem, because even though you got crackhead energy, you just give me your ID, I'll sell you your beer, and you can be on your way. Trust me, I don't want to deny you the beer. I really don't. I'm just doing my job. But when I ask him for his ID, he goes, oh, you don't believe I'm 21? And so I kind of explain, yo, I believe you're 21. You look 21. The thing about druggies is you never know how actually old they are. Like, trust me, this guy looked like 37, but for all I know, he could have been 18 and on crack since he was 14. I don't really know how that stuff works. So he's kind of like, well, why don't you believe me? And so, hey, dude, I'm just doing my job. I'll get fired if I don't have somebody look at your ID. It's not up to me to decide. The rules of the job say I have to have someone look at your ID if you're going to buy alcohol. It's nothing personal. I'm not sitting here hyped to deny you. I have to, or I'll get fired. He's like, oh, this is ridiculous. I'm obviously 21. I can't believe you have to override. You're lucky I don't sue this establishment. All right, dude. All right. Okay. Crackhead energy, crackhead anger. I get it. You know, sometimes I'd be mad if I was a crackhead too. So, hey, I don't really have an option. Just let me get my manager. And if you got a problem, you can talk to her. Fine, but this better be quick. I don't want to miss my movie. I know for a fact that no movie is starting for at least an hour, so trust me, you're going to be fine. It's not going to take an hour for my manager to come down here. So I politely say, hey, no movie start for an hour, so don't worry about it. And he goes, oh, no, it's my movie that I made. Like, it's my movie. And I'm like, oh, okay. So clearly this guy's a little bit unhinged. So I get on the radio and I tell my manager, hey, there's a guy trying to buy beer. I need you to come check his ID. Make sure everything's legit. Make sure everything works. Everything's fine, right? Pretty normal. So she comes down and she turns the corner and she sees the crackhead and her eyes get really wide, which is what mine wanted to do, but I was trying to be nice to the guy. And like I said, everybody gets on hard times. For all I know, he could just be a little eccentric. I'm not trying to be judgmental out here. Crackheads got to do crackhead things. So she gives me these wide eyes and she walks up to me and she says, oh, hey, what's going on? Is being nice. And he's like, well, apparently he needs an ID. And so she says, yeah, you know, it's legal procedure that since he's not 21, we have to come look at the ID before you can serve anyone alcohol. So is that okay? Yeah, okay. Can you provide your ID? And he goes, yeah, no problem. So he reaches into his pocket and pulls out a wallet that is stuffed to the brim with Monopoly money. And I'm not talking Canadian dollar bills, okay? I mean legitimate Monopoly money. Like, this guy had probably $100,000 in Monopoly money folded up into his wallet. This wallet is beat up to death. It's trashed. It's super thick. Like, it can't even fold because the amount of Monopoly money that it has in it. And I'm kind of just looking at my my boss. She looks at me and we're like, whatever. As long as he has his ID and has real money to pay for it, we don't care. We're just trying to get him out of the lobby as fast as possible to go sit on the couch and wait for his movie to start. I don't know what movie he was seeing. It was going to be a while. Apparently he's in it because he's a movie star or whatever. But that's how that goes. So she goes, okay, I need your ID. And he reaches in and he pulls out a pink Post-it note. Like a pink Post-it note that just says a birth date on it and says his name. And he goes, there you go. And my manager looks at me and I look at her and we're like, haha, like, where's your real license? He goes, that is my real license. And in like small Sharpie underneath was like the scribbling of the symbol and it said like Concordia, like something like that. Ordia, something like that. So my manager goes, we can't take this ID because obviously this is not real. And he goes, yes, I've seceded from the United States. It's my own country. I can show you legal documentation. It is my country, and I demand that you accept this identification. For if not, I will sue you and declare war on you through the country. And then he says the country's name. And I'm like, yo, bro, I am not getting paid enough to fight a crackhead right now. So my manager kind of looks at me, and to be honest, I could tell by the look in her eyes, we didn't want to serve this guy alcohol. The last thing we needed him to do was get any crazier, obviously. Like, him getting crazier doesn't benefit anybody. So she makes the audible, and she goes, yeah, well, we can't serve you. Sadly, our business is registered in the United States, and we can't recognize foreign laws. So even if you are your own country, there's just nothing that we can do about it, okay? We can't break the law, obviously, you know? We can't do that. And the look on his face is just pure anger. And how dare you? Do you have any idea who I am? I am the son of God. I created this country to give America a chance to finally learn something, and you're gonna mistreat me after everything I was gonna do for you. I was gonna make you two kings and queens in my country, but now it's not gonna happen, and you need to accept this immediately. I demand my beer. And he's getting loud and very unruly. So my manager decides that you know, we're just chilling. And we had a security guard at the movie theater because, shockingly, when you serve alcohol, people get out of control very, very often. So we had a security guard on deck whose job it was to just kind of keep people that were a little bit crazy under control, you know? Because sadly, people getting out of control wasn't as rare as I wish it would have been. Like, don't get me wrong, if I could have a world where I didn't have to deal with crackheads for most of my job, then that'd be great. That's just not the reality of the situation. So the security guard comes over and basically tells the guy that he has to leave. And this is where DEFCON 1 starts happening. Crackhead man, with all this crackhead energy, just starts wailing on the security guard, trying to fight him. The good thing about crackheads is they're not very strong. All their muscle mass has been dilapidated by, you know, crack. But putting up a fight. Apparently this movie that he's in and starring in, Crackhead Boy, is apparently it's gonna win an Oscar or something, because he was taking this very seriously. So our security guard, after realizing this is gonna be a fight, says call the cops, because clearly this guy is out of control, and even for his own safety, obviously this guy's not right in the head. It's better to get him some help than it is to just let him back out on the street. So We call the cops, and the security guard takes him outside and just kind of pins him down as doing stuff. And I'm kind of sitting here like, I did not expect this going into work. Normally, when I was at this movie theater, I would get yelled at by soccer moms for, being dumb or whatever. You don't really expect to have to get to fisticuffs with a crackhead and call the police. It's not a normal thing. So about 2 minutes later, the cops pull up. We were right down the street from the police station. They kind of asked what happened. So I had to give a statement about what crackhead guy did. Security guard gives a statement, manager gives a statement, and they're like, yeah, this guy's kind of known in the area. He does this pretty often. He'll go into a place and talk about his country and try to use, his monopoly money, which is his country's money, to pay for things, or he uses his fake ID to try to get stuff. And so we know what this guy's like. And so we're like, oh, well, he got in. You have to pay for a ticket to get in to buy food. And so we go, and there was a new girl at the cashier spot, and this dumb girl took Monopoly money as money. He paid with this Monopoly money, and the girl didn't even question it. She just let him in. So she ended up needing to get retrained. She didn't get fired, surprisingly. I would have fired her. I mean, you're not going to work for my company if you don't know what money looks like. But yeah. Moral of the story is, crackheads can go crazy at any given moment, and just because you're in a movie theater doesn't exactly mean that you're going to be safe. On that note, though, guys, that's going to do it for the video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, I'd really appreciate... Oh, I forgot something, actually. I forgot something. So, that wasn't my last interaction with the crackhead. I almost ended the video. That was bad. So, he actually ended up trying to come back a couple months later, and I was standing at the, the concessions again, and I looked out the window, and I saw him walking up. So, I went up to the girl in the ticket office, and I said, you can't sell a ticket to that guy. First of all, he doesn't have money, but in the event that he does, you can't sell a ticket to him. And she was like, oh, okay. So, he did try to come back, which is crazy to me. That real crackhead energy where you're like, I should just go back to the place I just got kicked out from. That's a fantastic idea. But that's going to do it for the video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to have an absolutely amazing day. Turn on the notifications, comment down below, all that good stuff. It does help the video do better, and I greatly appreciate it. Today's notification shout out goes to the one, the only, Nikon Owusu. Big shout out to you for having on notifications. If you want a notification shout out, you just gotta send me a screenshot of your notifications being on to my Instagram at Scrubby, and I shout somebody out every day. But on that note, hope you guys have an absolutely incredible day. Don't get anyone pregnant. If you do, make sure they're hot, and I'll see you guys next time with another video. I'm gonna go play some Borderlands now. Deuces.